Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Genevieve. I am a spiritual medium and an artist. Today I'm going to share 3 tips for connecting with the spirit world. As a spiritual medium, I'm connecting with people's loved ones who have passed on a regular basis. And I've learned some techniques that really work. I employ them in my own life. And I would like to share them with you because the spirit world really is not very distant. Actually, they're right here with us. And for anyone who has lost a loved one, your loved one would dearly like to connect with you. And you don't have to go to a spiritual medium like me. You can do it yourself. So here it is, my 3 tips for connecting with the spirit world. Tip number 1 is prayer and ritual. It's very important to create some sort of space in your living space, whether you have a whole house available to you or an apartment or just a room. If you can put a little bit of space aside to make a kind of altar, and I don't really like using the word altar because it's a bit negative, but a space where you put objects that assist you to connect with the divine, with spirit, with God, source creator. And in this space, if you have a recently deceased loved one, my suggestion is to place a picture of them as recent as possible and any other pictures of beautiful memories that you shared together, and put there some objects that help you connect with your spirituality. So crystals might be there. Crystals are really good for working with the spiritual world because crystals are consciousness, they are living beings, and that consciousness is emanating from their physical presence. The physical crystal has a vibration and it is operating at a higher, more pure level of consciousness. Crystals are a friend to have in this sacred space for your prayers and rituals to the spirit world, because the crystal will hold high frequencies. So when the spirit world is communicating with us, the spirit world is at a higher vibration and the spiritual world has to come down in vibration a bit. We have to go up in vibration a bit. And crystals, because they have a high pure frequency, they have a vibration that is part of nature, and nature is a pure expression of God in the physical world. It's unadulterated, as much as efforts are made to make nature into something separate from God. Actually, nature always stays true to its source. A crystal or two are suitable objects to have here to hold the energy of love, to hold the energy of your intention, and to facilitate clear communication. So you could use crystals such as clear quartz, rose quartz, amethyst, green fluorite, and you could use grounding crystals such as black onyx, or most types of black stones will provide some grounding and protection. Any crystals that speak to you, that are your friends, that feel good to you, resonate with you, then those would be great to place on this home ritual or prayer space. In this space, you can also bring in the 5 elements. So you could have a small plant for earth, you could have a little bowl of water, you could have a candle, and candles representing fire are really helpful when you are meditating on your loved one and connecting with spirit. Fire is a transmutational element, so it helps to take your messages to the spirit world, and it also helps to receive messages from the spirit world. So you can burn a candle and really pay attention to the flame, see if it starts to flicker and change in movement, and that might indicate the presence of your deceased loved one. Air is, of course, all around us, so you don't need to introduce air as an element, but you have the water, the fire, the earth, the air all around. And if you want to bring in metal, you can do that too by placing a piece of jewelry, a spoon or a key, and if possible, an object that your loved one gave to you or used to be theirs would be beneficial as well. So you don't need to make this complicated, just have whatever you have. Just the photo is important, and anything that reminds you of them, and a couple of crystals and the candle and whatever else is just available to you. You don't have to go out and buy anything for this purpose. So when you create this little space, this little altar for your deceased loved one, then visit it daily if you can, and otherwise every other day, and light the candle, look at the candle, and send your intentions to connect with this loved one. Ask for purification and protection for the space and for your interaction. I also like to ask my forebears, my extended family, so not only the grandparents, but the generations before them, and anybody who has a connection and an interest in communicating with me from the family, who is relevant and who can assist with the interaction. When you call them in, you could ask for help and support. You could simply ask to connect. And most people that I work with really want to know that their loved one is okay and that they're no longer in pain. And maybe that, do they have a message for them? Is there something that they want to communicate? So just stay open, ask all of these questions, stay open to receiving. Don't go into disappointment or panic if you don't receive anything straight away. Just keep up this practice and keep it going for months, as long as you want, maybe years, and you will slowly start to create that connection and trust that that connection is there. My second tip for connecting with the spirit world is to speak to them out loud. It's very important to really speak your words out loud so that they can hear you, because your guides who are always tuned into you may be able to hear a bit better the thoughts going around your own head, but your deceased loved ones don't live inside your own head. So you really need to speak out loud so that they can hear you. And it also helps to normalize and personalize the communication and the connection that you are having, because you're talking to them as if they didn't leave, as if they're still here. And that definitely helps. Just trust me if you can, or don't trust me, but my advice based on my experience is that they can absolutely hear you. When you speak out loud, when you call their name, when you have a little altar or a sacred prayer or ritual space for them, they are absolutely aware of that, and they are absolutely going to come and visit with you. Focus on good memories. It may be somebody with whom you had a troubled relationship, especially if it's a parent, for example. It's always good to focus on, as much as possible, positive feelings, emotions, thoughts, and intentions. when you're connecting with them in spirit. And the reason for that is that they are now passed over and they're closer to God. They are closer to their highest self. So even if there has been negative experience, they've done you wrong, and there's unhealed or unresolved issues there, the version of them that you are communicating with when you speak to them after they have passed over is a different version, and you have to keep that in mind. Some people who have just crossed over are maybe still very much in the mentality that they were in before they died, depending on a lot of factors. Have they been working on themselves before they died? Have they made changes in their consciousness? Did they open their heart? Were they able to reflect on the events of their life? Did they have regret and remorse? Did they express sorrow? Did they want to apologize? These types of people who go through that emotional change at the end of their life may be quicker to go to the higher version of themselves. People who were stubbornly refusing to change right up until the end of their life still may not be at the higher version of themselves right after they die. So it might take some time for you to get to the point where you're speaking to a higher version of them, but that will inevitably happen. So if you have the patience to stick with it, then do. Just try not to have expectations in the beginning, and try to focus on the positive to open up the communication lines and find common ground. Some people, like I said, who have really worked on themselves, even though you might have had a difficult relationship with them, you would more likely find that people who went through some kind of deep reflection before the end of their lives are going to be at a higher level of their consciousness when you connect with them right after they've passed over, because they've already done quite a bit of that work to resolve issues from the last incarnation. So focus on good memories to get started, and don't have high expectations about where they are. Just know that wherever they are after they've passed, they are on a journey which will inevitably take them to a much higher version of themselves. And as the years go by, you will be able to connect with a wiser and a wiser version of them. My last tip for connecting with the spirit world is to have dream meetings with your deceased loved ones. This takes a bit of practice. Don't expect that you're going to have a really vivid memory the first time that you do this. But the technique is quite simple. Before you go to sleep, simply focus on this person, this deceased loved one. Feel their energy, and then out loud, ask them to join you in your sleep, in your dreams, to have a nice meeting. And before you doze off to sleep, you can start to envision the setting for this meeting. Maybe it's something that you used to do together that you really enjoyed. Maybe it is a fantasy location and you're going to do something really crazy like fly to Venus or go to another world. Or maybe you just want to do something on Earth that's really pleasant and going to be fun, like a picnic in the park. Whatever you decide is the setting for your dream meeting, make that your focus before you go to sleep. Keep a dream journal by your bed, which is just some paper and a pencil. It can be a fancy journal or it can be a ruled notepad from the supermarket. Really doesn't matter. And in the morning, right when you wake up, feel in for the memories because dreams are very fleeting, they leave really quickly. If you can catch the feeling of having been with that person, then write it down and write down as much as you can remember as quickly as possible, because it's going to disappear. And keep up this practice. If we sleep deeply, we tend not to remember our dreams. So you may well be having a full dream meeting with deep experience, but because you sleep really deeply, your brain's not holding on to the memory of that. So before you go to sleep, tell yourself, I want to remember my dream meeting with my deceased loved one. I want to remember this. And give yourself those cues and practice. Don't expect to get this right off the bat. Keep doing it every other day, whenever is convenient, whenever you feel inspired, and see what happens. Over time, you are going to have memorable dream encounters with your deceased loved ones. So that's it for today's video. I hope that this helps you connect with your deceased loved ones. You can always have a session with me or any other spiritual medium if you want to connect closer with your deceased loved ones. They dearly want to hear from you, and they are right here with you. Have a great day.